Hey, all you Dishin Days fans. It is Tony Moore here at Day of Days, and I am here with one of the most popular couples of Salem, Freddie Smith. Well, not a real-life couple, but Freddie Smith and Chandler Massey.
Yes.
How are you guys?
Doing well.
Doing great. Nice to be here. Nice to be here, I mean. Yeah, excuse me.
All right, so recently it seems like Sonny and Will are kind of, sort of a part of storylines, but not like fully immersed in them. Which storyline did you guys find the most amusing or entertaining to kind of be sort of a part of?
I mean, it was kind of ours, but the Greg Rickert Leo thing was just incredible.
Yeah, just watching him do his thing, yeah. It's great.
I loved just the interaction that you all had, and I was just glad that there was another character that you guys could play off of, and it brought some like amazing like storyline, but also just amazing scenes between you all. If you could have another gay character come into Salem, and they could be another gay character from any show, who would you love to see come in?
In what regard? From
any show, like it could be Jack from Will and Grace, or it could be Will, or it could be any other gay personality or gay character that you're familiar with, to come into Salem and maybe kind of shake things up a little bit.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me wants to say, I just miss having Christopher Sean around. That's kind of cheating, but like if Paul could come back, that would be awesome. But if he came back evil, you know what I mean? Like he was something really messed him up, and he's not really taking any crap from anybody anymore, and he's not like the nice guy that we knew, and he's right. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah, it would be. Christopher.
Yeah.
Are you watching? Come on by. Mix things up.
Yeah.
Well, I always, have storylines, and we always like to write in storylines. So I think if Christopher Sean came back, he could come back with Terrence, who's Maxine's son. I'm still trying to plug that in. Yeah. He could be his physical therapist, which was a suggestion, and then we can come in and do some evil things to Sonny and Will.
He started falling in love, and then he comes back, and he's taking his first steps again, and then he just literally walks away and just breaks Terrence's heart, and then you have to fight to get him back. Oh man!
For any writers of Days who are listening or watching, take notes. But aside from the stuff on Days, Freddie, you have your podcast with Alyssa, which I was a guest on. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being there.
Of course,
fun, a lot of fun.
No, it was great. How has that been, kind of traveling this road into the podcast world?
It's it's just great because I love being able to have people over and have interesting conversations, and then selfishly you get to learn things by just asking people questions. So it's like building our knowledge, and it's also, with content being king right now, having a podcast allows you to clip that content for a lot of different social platforms. So it's like kind of an all-in-one deal. So you get to learn, you get to host and have friends over, and you get to be able to post on a bunch of different platforms to keep people engaged. And so it's just been a really good experience, and we're about to crank it up as we go on this little hiatus.
So who's one person that you would love to sit down and get to know?
This is just because he's my idol in this field would be Joe Rogan, but I don't think he actually does interviews, but that would be my answer. That'd be amazing because he's the pioneer, so one of the pioneers. So.
So now venturing back to Days, you guys have been playing the super gay couple for many, many years now. And I know at first you all wanted to make sure that you were authentic to your character. Do you still feel that pressure to ensure that you are representing Sonny and Will as authentically as possible for the LGBTQIA community?
What do you think? I think it's. I asked what you thought and then decided to answer. But go ahead. What do you think?
I don't know if I'd say it's pressure, but that's certainly something that's in my mind when I break down a scene or you want to keep it cohesive. You want to be true to the character, of course, because Sonny and Will have meant something to like a lot of people, so you don't want to betray that. Yeah.
No, I think it's. I think though we've kind of. It's just become part of us at this point.
Yeah.
Like I almost don't feel I'm as heady about it because there was just a lot going on the first 3 years, but I just feel like it's settled in.
Yeah.
Like it almost doesn't feel. That's why I was like smiling because I'm like, it just kind of when they say action, we just like fall into it now, and we've just been trusting the writing. But I mean, there are a lot of scenes and storylines that you still deep down go, okay, we got to be cognizant and take a little extra time on this. But I think for the most part, I just feel like we've really found a groove at this point.
I agree.
Was there any particular storyline where you felt that you wanted to really make sure that you were aware of how this portrayal and how the storyline was going to go, so that way you didn't offend or feel like you got it wrong?
I mean, I feel like that's all on the beautiful writing. I don't feel like it's ever been like, oh, we have to act it a certain way for it. Like, it's been beautiful writing, so I don't feel like that's ever been an issue in that sense. But just any time that we're breaking up, falling back in love, or whatever it may be, that's when it's all there. For the most part, we're just like every other couple. And even with our falling in love and out of love is like every other couple on the show too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the most that would go on would be like trimming some dialogue. Like every now and then, there's a line that I feel like is not representative of who Will is, and then just like adjusting it to keep things true to our natures and stuff and personalities. That's all. Yeah.
And one last question before we have to wrap. We didn't even get to our game, so you guys got out of it. But Chandler, one of the things that people have noticed in some scenes is that you almost seem like you're on the verge of either smiling or laughing. So we want to know, what is Chandler thinking during those moments? Did someone trip? Did someone fall? Is there a funny joke that's running in your head? What's Chandler thinking during those moments?
I mean, I'm thinking don't smile and laugh, which is why it's hard not to do that. I mean, I think it's just certain scenes are, I mean, it might not even be anything in particular, just I think part of the risk of like being present is that you sort of have to be open to reacting in a way that you didn't anticipate, and sometimes, especially if it's like in a scene with Greg, you just can't, you know what I mean? He just says, he's just so larger than life and audacious that you can't, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta.
The sassy Leo walkaways were always my favorite, where he would like pick up the glass and just kind of like jam Brady out. Like, one, that's how I would exit a room. Two, it was done brilliantly. So kudos to y'all for keeping that together.
But also, I mean, because you said we have been observing a lot, so I feel like when if you have a bunch of dialogue and you're heavy and you're driving the story, it's easy to stay in it and connected and serious. But when you're just sort of watching and reacting, that's when I feel like you're in danger of like finding things funny that you shouldn't be finding funny,
Well, it's also because rehearsal, we usually like add lines and make it like funny and like goof off every now and then. So then when it becomes serious, it's like,
oh, you got to get back to that. And sometimes there's a little bit of that left over.
Yeah.
Little residue of that joke during rehearsal. All right, well, we are anxious to see what happens with Sonny and Will, especially now with this flash forward that we were just introduced to. So we're hoping for the best, because Wilson's kind of been playing it cool for a little while. So we'll see what's coming up.
I think it's going to be happy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to be so happy.
Well, on that note, thanks guys for tuning in, and we have more interviews to come. Bye, y'all.